let us in the Okay, let me stop. I'm not a rapper. Are we live?
We are live.
Oh yeah, baby, we live. Hey everybody out there on the internet. We are back with another amazing Oakland Slam gang. But before we start today's show is brought to you by all of our wonderful supporters over on Patreon. Over the past couple years, these monthly donors have been holding it down and ensuring that we are able to artistically and financially support the poets, artists, and educators that we bring to our virtual stages. None of this would be possible or sustainable without your continued support. So thank you, in particularly Alice Nami, Melody Montgomery, John Romankowitz. This feels like an old list. Some of these people aren't patrons anymore. Okay, I will go over this again. Someone needs to update the list. In particular, Alice Nami, Stephanie Yaboa, Renee Edmonds, Emily Chow, and Kalela Lee for being regulars. Thank you to Jessica Kosakik for sponsoring one of our weekly workshops. And a special thank you to Alice Grimm and Rebecca Abraham for pledging $100 a month in support of our venue, the Allen Bluford Center. Our average donation is $11 a month. That means for less than the price of a Netflix subscription, because they just keep going up and up and up. You can support a global literary and performing arts movement. If you enjoy what you are seeing or just love the arts, head over to patreon.com/richoakevents. But Colin, what if I don't have the financial means to donate monthly, but I still want to support you financially on a one-time basis? I am so glad that somebody with a strangely high-pitched voice asked. If you would like to donate on a one-time basis, we accept donations via Venmo at Rich Oak Slam, as well as Cash App, hashtag Rich Oak Events. Thank you so much for all of your support. And on to our regularly scheduled programming. All right. We have a kick-ass slam for y'all today, and for those of you who do not know, a slam is in fact a competition, which means we have a few random judges in our audience today who will be judging our poetry. But because it is a competition, there has to be a few rules. So I will start with the poets. Your rules are simple. No props, no musical accompaniment, no nudity, no animal acts, no costumes, but most importantly is our time limit. You have 3 minutes with a grace period of 10 seconds to share one poem. After 3 minutes and 10 seconds, your poem will be deducted points by our scorekeeper, Reggie. Give it up for Reggie doing math on a Tuesday night. Gang, 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 gang. But at 4 minutes, you will be muted by our God. So if you are in the middle of your poem and suddenly you can no longer hear anything except for me talking and I'm like clapping it up, like give it up for the next poet and moving on, it is no longer the middle of your poem. It is the end of your poem. We have people here from all over, different time zones, different states, maybe even different countries. So we want to respect everybody's time. Make sure that everybody goes to bed at a reasonable hour. So please don't go over 4 minutes. All right, I think that is it for the poets. Next, we have the judges. Gang, 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 gang. Judges, you have one of the best jobs in the room. You get to judge all of the poetry openly and let everyone know your opinion. Judges will be scoring the poets from 0.0 to 10.0. 0.0 is the absolute worst piece of shit you have ever heard in your life. Just hearing this one word from this poem has made one of your ears bleed, and only one ear bleeds so that the other ear can hear the blood gushing out from your now destroyed eardrum. It is terrible. It is disgusting. A 10.0 is the best poem you have ever heard in your life. Not only has it repaired your now bleeding ear, it fixed your knees. You no longer have that backache. Your shoulder don't click when you rotate. This is starting to get very specific about a specific person's body instead of just random, and everybody can relate to it. Look, I'm in pain, and a 10.0 can heal all of that pain. The point being, there aren't many zeros and there aren't many tens. As the night goes on, where you may be sipping a little something, smoking a little something, poetry starts to magically sound better. Don't do that shit. Stay consistent. It's not really fair to the person who goes first to have to deal with the scores just gradually getting higher. So to help y'all stay consistent, we will have a sacrifice, someone to get you ready for poetry and to calibrate you. This poet is not in the slam, but you will score them as if they are in the slam. If you like the poets who come after more, you score them higher. If you like them less, you score them lower. We just ask that you stay consistent. And next, we have rules for you, the audience. Yes. This is my favorite part of the show because this is where I get to tell you what to do in your own home. Yay! But first, pull out your cellular device or switch tabs on your computer and follow, subscribe, share to our Facebook, our Instagram, and our Facebook and Instagram at the Oakland Poetry Slam, and our YouTube at Bay Poets Unite. That way you can stay up to date on when our next shows are. If you can't be at one of our shows, you can always check out our live stream, but you trust me, you want to stay tapped in. Oakland Slam might be coming back in person soon. And if you're in the Bay Area, you're going to want to know when that is. And the only way you're going to know is if you are tapped in. Next, comment on the feed. Let these poets know how much you love them. If you are in this Zoom with us, feel free when poets are coming up to the stage to unmute yourself and cheer, clap, scream how much you love those poets. And then mute yourself when they're performing. But it's kind of dead in here, just screaming into the void to a whole bunch of people who don't speak back. So speak back. Let us know what you're thinking, how much you love us, how much you support us. If you are a hating ass nigga, keep that shit to yourself. But if you love us, we want to know. If you hate us, there's probably another slam out here who also hates us. And you should let them know about us because they would love to hear what you have to say about us, but we don't really care. We care about support. We care about love. We care about supporting the artists that come up to the stage. So if you like that, comments, let us know. Next is freedom of speech. Poets will be coming up here and saying whatever the fuck they want. Be prepared for that. You might hear things that you love. You might hear things that make you laugh. You might hear things that make you cry. You might hear things that make you upset. And all of that is to start conversations, respectful conversations. So if you hear something that piques your interest for whatever reason, positive or negative, I implore you to have that conversation respectfully and not to make it my problem. And the way you don't make it my problem is by having that conversation respectfully, because we love conversations, we hate arguments, and it's up to y'all to choose which one you get to have, whether it's a conversation or an argument. And we love conversations. We love speaking to each other, but the only way we can speak to each other is if we have the confidence that we can say what's on our mind. But we also need to be held accountable for that. So those conversations really help do that, as long as they are done respectfully. Gang, gang, gang. Whew, that was a lot of rules. That was a lot of regulations. Nobody likes the law, but it's necessary to have a kick-ass amazing show. And at this show, we have 3 people on our list. Poets will be reading in this order. For coming up first, we have Maddie, followed by Chardonnay, and ending our first round with Nicole Tracy. Give it up for everybody performing in the slam.
Gang, 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 gang. Woo!
Yeah.
Fireworks.
Gang, 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 gang. So,
a lot of gang
when I say on deck, that means you are not coming up next. now, but you are coming up next, so get ready. So on deck, we have our first poet of the slam, Maddie. But coming up to the stage, give a maximum love to your sacrifice of the night. Give it up for Colin. Woo!
You look like the host.
That's my best friend.
I have to act like I'm not looking for a poem. Okay. Can you hear me?
Indeed.com. Not the job you want, but the job you need.
The cops follow the buses at night on the north side. Because the mayor refuses to send city property into the hood unprotected, protection is for the worthy. And this bus is a service even to the niggas. And the bad says, can't they see we doing them a favor? We are protecting you from yourself. Ain't this bus your ride? It's like these niggas don't want our help. And us niggas are too busy placing flowers by the roadside to notice. There are no words a grieving tongue can speak. So these lilies are the only thing we have to say that we miss you. Down the block, candles are relit. Liquor is poured out for the dead homies. These streets are drunk tonight. Belly warm with blood and cognac. These streets drink dark liquor. Says it tastes sweeter. Ain't got much bite to it. Goes down smooth. So I could always take another shot. And that's all niggas do around here is shoot and plant flowers. So we must be gangster gardeners. Green thumb on one hand and trigger finger on the other. Cause all niggas do around here is kill and mourn. Keep 9 tucked close and head on the swivel through the darkness. Shed tear for those who won't live to see the daylight. Cause these streets are deadly silent on a night like this. The stillness only disturbed by the sound of diesel engine roaring down the concrete is escort. Flashes a blue and red warning to all of the hood saying, don't you bring all that death around here. Thank you.
Woo.
All right, give it up for your sacrifice. Gang, 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 gang. I don't know who that ugly guy was, but I guess judges, you should do your job and send your score in. Oh my gosh, that was such a bad poem. I'm joking. I have to remain unbiased even when it's my own poems, I guess. All right, judges. You are now experts. I trust you. You are doing your job. So on deck, we have Chardonnay, but coming up to the stage, give maximum love to our first poet of the slam. Give it up for Maddie. Woo!
Hi. Hello.
Let's go, poet.
All right. My name is Maddie. What's up? I'm autistic. Let's go. I have lived 25 years with nothing holding up my spine but shadows. Sheer hope, a birthday cake, my mom's voice on the other end of the phone levitating in midair, a pocket of wind held up by nothing but her gut feelings, a prayer. Just tell me you're safe, she'd say. Tell me you'll stay. But I know all the things she promised me inside a shadow can never survive the sun. They never make it to the morning. She tells me I'm made of something stronger than flesh and bone. She tells me one day I will write my way so far out of this body that my words will cast shadows across the city like skyscrapers, spreading shade to everyone stranded out in the heat. I'm not sure how my heartbeat became a cork in my throat, holding in spirits that have aged like good liquor over decades of false homecoming. A birthday cake made of rope and dust. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how those stories got so stuck up inside me. When they exit out, they pour, spill from me like roadkill, so twisted it'll make your lips pucker. Like, I have no memory that hasn't been filtered through a nightmare. Like, I can't recognize myself in photographs anymore. I can't tell you about innocence. I can't remember what anything looked like after I was 5. Only what it looks like now. Only a split lip. Only this body when I wake with the wind stuffed inside me. Only my mother's words reminding me the doors are locked. Your meds are here if you need them. You're safe. I'm here. Through the telephone. I have lived 25 years with my mother's voice wrapped in between my fingers like a rosary. I pray for a phone call and it keeps the sun out.
All right, give it up one more time for Maddie. Gang, 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 gang. Judges, get your scores in to our scorekeeper, Reggie. Do we have scores for the last poet yet? Do we have scores for the last poet? Do we have scores for the last poet? Do we have scores for the last poet? Do we have scores? Hey, and our sacrifice got a score of a 26.7. Give it up for the poet and not the scores.
Yay! Gang, 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 gang.
And if I'm not mistaken, Maddie, is it your first time here?
Been here a while ago. I used to go when you guys were in person. I missed in person, but I've been a while before since I've been on the virtual for a while.
Oh, word! So this is your first virtual show. Give it up for first timers, and it's good to see you back. Hopefully, we'll be back in person soon. But all right, moving on deck, we have Nicole Tracy. But coming up to this stage right now, give maximum love to Chardonnay. Woo!
Gang, 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 gang.
Woo! Brat, 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 brat.
Can you hear me?
E.com.
Great grandmother. I worked myself to the bones for this family. Carved myself as a meal for them to feast on. My best still wasn't good enough. This work is my DNA. Call it the cancer in my breast. Arm so swollen I cannot lift my grandchildren. A mutation that grew from being too heavy-handed with my own kids. Like my cells, I divided myself until there wasn't enough of me for me, or my oldest child. Killed my husband for her, and when I die, she'll wonder if I ever loved her. Abuse knows many forms, and I'll never know that my best was never good enough. Grandmother. My mother stopped doing a damn thing for me when I was 12, claimed she didn't realize I needed a mother while helping her raise her own kids. She killed my stepfather, her husband, but I took over his burden, raised my siblings and their kids and my own, and nobody offered me any fucking help. I've been drinking this medicine since I was 3, and getting sober ain't helped me. I worked my ass off for this family and nobody gives a damn. Divided myself until there wasn't any me for me. And if they find physical cancer in my body, I just hope the pain ends soon. My best hasn't been good enough, and I know it. Go to therapy just for them to vent to me, because I got that kind of energy. There is no space here for me to do better. Mother. I lost my mom when I was 11. When I found her, I swore I'd never be like her. I only have one me, and I'll let everyone starve before I carve out my pieces like meat. Cancer mutates your genes, but I never liked wearing pants. If I divide myself until there's no me for me, what will my children think of their own bodies? We matter more than our ability, and the truth is, if we give more than we receive, they'll take everything. I call God and ask her to forgive the women before me. Doing the best with what you have doesn't matter when you have nothing.
All right, give it up one more time for Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Gang. All right, and for reference, our last poet, Maddie, got a score of a 28.3. Give it up for the poet, not the scores. Gang.
Let's go, poet.
And if you just so happen to have felt inspired by anything you have heard tonight, and you're like, oh my God, I want to write poetry. I don't know where to write poetry. Well, you've come to the right place. Right here, before the show, on Zoom, 7 o'clock, we have a writing workshop. It is for anybody who just needs the space to write. We have guided writing prompts run by members of our crew, run by our features, run by other people from the community who are absolutely amazing writers. It does not matter your skill level, if you've written 0 poems, if you've written 1,000,000 poems, if you need a space to write, come on down. We would love to have you. All right. On deck, we have our feature. Make some noise if you know who our feature is.
Woo!
If you don't know, you're gonna learn today. And y'all are lucky because y'all get to learn from just like the feature. And like I had to compete against this person a lot. So like I had to learn the hard way. But either way, y'all gonna learn. So on deck, we have our feature, Mike Ting, but coming up to the stage right now, give maximum love to our last poet of the first round. Give it up for Nicole Tracy.
Mic check.
We can hear you.
America loved everyone until they could not make them American. You can't drop letters and have someone look more like they belong here. We were here, we were here, we were here. America wants first generation to mean first to forget where you come from, first to call yourself American and nothing to come before it, first to forget Angel Island or Manzanar as part of your own family history. America wants to forget their own history of exploitative labor, systemic oppression, forget their foundation of selective freedom, selective justice, and violent racism. America wants me to forget, apologize to them instead of demanding reparations. We were here, we were here, we were here. America loved me as the model minority until it didn't. America loved me until I spoke up, until I stopped smiling, until I said no. I am here, I am here, I am here. America said they loved me as the news rolled with China virus, kung flu, and hate crimes. America says forget the yellow peril, forget we called you terrorist and traitor and not a citizen anymore. Just forget, just forget, just forget. I wait at the metro for my morning commute and a man sees me, thinks outsider, opens his mouth to ask me, did you see on the news? Orientals are facing discrimination because of the flu. And this is before the week in Atlanta and San Francisco and Indianapolis and New York City and insert city here, insert city here, insert city here. I'm quiet. I hold my breath. I do not exhale. I do not cough. I do not tell him it has gone on for over a year now. He tells me he wants to witness violence so he can be the one to intervene and stop it. All I hear is, I shouldn't be afraid. I'm not the one he wants to inflict violence on today. I'm not afraid. I'm just angry.
Woo! Give it up.
That was fucking awesome. Fuck yeah.
Tracy. Gang, 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 gang. Judges, get your scores into Reggie. Y'all have been great at getting them quickly. All right, and for reference, our last poet Chardonnay got a score of a 27.3. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. Gang, 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 gang. I can hear an echo. Echo. Anyway, do we have scores for our last poet before I move into the feature? I'm elongating my words so that you have time to sit.
Hey, Colin, what's happening this Saturday?
I don't know what's happening this Saturday.
Alchemy?
Oh, I thought it was something other than alchemy. You said it like it was like some like hella special shit. Alchemy is a special show. I don't want to say that, but look, and it pairs right into our feature well because when Mike Ting won IWIPS, it was representing alchemy, which was wild. But yes, alchemy is this Saturday on Instagram Live. Every first and third Saturday, we are on Instagram Live with our open mic, cutting up. You might see me with a fruit filter. You might see me with a dog filter. Or I might not be hosting. You don't know. But you find out if you show up. All right, I'm gonna get into this feature because this feature is absolutely amazing. I'm gonna read part of this bio, and then share stories. So, Mike Ting is an Asian American poet born and raised in the Bay Area who has toured both internationally and in cities across the country, sharing his work, his particular brand of spoken word. His poetry navigates topics of race, assimilation, family, loss, and evolution through the honest storytelling and emotional upheaval. In 2015, he helped Team Palo Alto take second place at Group Peace Finals during the National Poetry Slam. RIP to the National Poetry Slam. Gotta pour some out for the homie. In 2018, Mike became the first Chinese American to win the individual World Poetry Slam held in San Diego, California. And this year, Mike published his debut poetry collection, Novelty, which is now available for purchase on all online retailers. But like word, I used to compete against Mike Taylor before he got famous and all that. Like winning champions and shit. And it was an absolute nightmare. It was one time at Root Slam where we tied and I was pissed because I knew for a fact Mike was better than me, but the crowd was really feeling me that night. So I was like, second round came, I was like, I need to win it now because if we tie, or Mike was probably gonna take the second round, but if we tie, I'm not coming out of this tie. And sure enough, I did my best poem, which was Tootsie Roll Racism at the time. We fucking tied that round again. And it was the third round. I don't even remember what poem I did because I didn't have shit. I didn't have shit. And that is one of the things I have always respected about Mike Ting, is that every single poem I have ever heard from him is fire. And the amount of new work that I hear from him is absolutely amazing, that, you know, someone can have so many good poems. Like, yeah, it's a nightmare to compete against him because there's so many good poems. But without further ado, did I say Mike Taylor? I don't know if I'm
At one point you did. I was like, bitch.
Yes. What you didn't know is that Mike Ting is secretly a black man. Get up on stage before I keep bullshit. Give it up for Mike Ting.
You are a champion, my friend.
I hope no one was actually expecting a black man.
And an eye whips champ. Oh my god.
This poem is about noodles. Actual noodles. And no, the noodles are not a metaphor for some long, winding, seemingly unending struggle that one finally learns can be broken when one sinks their teeth into it. No. This poem is just about noodles and how much I fucking love them. There are few things in life better than discovering there's a new noodle joint in your neighborhood that's promoting an authentic Taiwanese beef noodle soup and realizing it's not some hipster fusion, vinyls on the wall, no Asians in the kitchen, took over some local mom and pop shop $23 bowl of bullshit, and instead, it's just you in a piping hot bowl of good old-fashioned noodles. But no, the piping hot bowl of good old-fashioned noodles does not represent the circular logic that justifies the displacement of the other ingredients. We're here before the noodles are now spilling out over the edges because the noodles are the only ones who can afford to live here. No, this is not about that. This is just about noodles and how much I love to eat them. Look, I'll teach you. When the broth is scalding hot and threatens to singe your tongue anew, you can mimic what Asians have been doing for centuries and your way to a full stomach, taking in all of that cooled air to offset the heat, serpentining down your throat, avoiding the looks and stares from those not versed in this ancient practice. But no, avoiding the looks and stares from those not versed in this ancient practice does not represent the shame you keep bottled up inside you. The jeers of your childhood bullies, their jokes about you filling your stomach in the way your mother instructed you how. No, this is not an analogy for the small ways you're made to feel small as a child, how you curled into the tightest ball of rice until the laughter steamed its way out of you. No, this poem is just about noodles and the way life and food and culture run parallel and crystalline formations, beautiful like the way a mouth opens when it knows only good things are coming its way. Why is it that every time I try to write about the things I love, there's always some bowl being dropped, china shattered at my feet? I swear, if you let the egg, flour, and water knead together in your mouth, you can hear my grandmother praying to a God she doesn't know for a better life. If you sip the broth with purpose, you can see my mother arguing with the bank to not take our home away. If I can't write about something so pure as a bowl of noodles without letting all of the other ingredients in my life seep in, then let us mix it all together. Let us cook on our own terms. Let us say how much salt stays in these old wounds and how much we toss over our shoulder to keep the devil off our tracks. Sometimes the poem is a seance, an invitation to dine with each of our ghosts, but it doesn't always have to be. It can create life too. It can warm the stomach. It can stretch into any direction we pull it into the moment we finally learn to let it all go. Trauma is best served in the past, yet it always has a way of making it up our throats, into the ink that floods our pens, onto the pages we swear are hungry for something else. What's up, Oakland Slam? My name is Mike Ting.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I am happy to be here, albeit virtually. I'm actually in Oakland right now. Feel really close, but far away at the same time, but that's some COVID shit. I recently published my debut poetry book, Novelty. Check it out. I'm super excited about this book. You can buy it, like Colin was saying, pretty much everywhere online, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you get your online books. I'm really proud of this thing. It's kind of like my catalog up till now. We're kind of all around the theme of novelty. I'm going to actually read some poems from the book, kind of talk a little bit about the book. I'm actually going to go into the kind of the title piece here because it kind of sparked the idea for the book. The book actually has different definitions of novelty kind of broken throughout. And so I'm going to read this first definition here. Definition of novelty, noun, of a kind not seen before, fresh, new. My mother once told me that back in China, they'd see me as a novelty. A Chinese man without a Chinese tongue, an Asian face with a white man's voice. She speaks with the subtlety of a bull shoplifting in a china shop, careful to not arouse suspicion at her theft, unaware of how my face is a porcelain plate cracking at the sound of her certainty. She says this like someone who hears of death on the TV and smiles when delivering the news. Did you know blank died today? Yes, mother, I did. And somewhere, a crack is beginning to show its teeth. There are some nice little images in the book as well. I partnered with one of my friends, Ale Gurman, on the artwork. And so just really love the art pieces in here. So if you do get the book, you can check them all out. Gonna move into another piece from the book. This piece is called Binge. When I say I have an obsessive personality, what I mean is that I've loved as many empty glasses as I have the nights that birthed them. When I say that I'm prone to excess, what I mean is that if you challenge me to anything, a part of me will lose whether I accept or not. You say that you love a good binge, an evening curled up with your favorite pastime, or maybe a night that fades into a moonless sky, but what do you know of circling the earth until your feet fold neatly into your stomach, couched next to the courage you swore you were saving for the right time? I think all my life I've been in love with a kind of emptiness, the sort that leaves you gifts that you don't need, but nonetheless accept as payment for a debt you know you are owed but do not remember. I wish deeply to recall a version of myself that was whole. Perhaps somewhere in the warmth of my mother's womb, I was a full cup, overflowing in a love too vast to fit in my hand, and I've been watching it slipped like sand ever since. When I say that I am better now, I mean that you've caught me on a good lie. I'm saying that it's easier today to buy what I'm selling. I'm all out of resistance that have instead stocked my shelves with optimism. You say you love a good binge, but have you ever sought out hope at 3 a.m. from a friend of a friend of a friend just to get high enough to fall asleep? I do not believe myself special. I imagine that we are all chasing the dragon somewhere, that we're all just walking addictions, introducing ourselves by our first names and the last lie we told ourselves when we woke up this morning. Yet I'm still walking into each day like I imagine you were supposed to walk out of rehab, joyous and terrified of whatever comes next. I fold my heart the way the TV tells me to. I tuck it away and make excuses for it when it slips out of my pocket into someone else's lap. I am so sorry. This thing is never satisfied in my arms, needs to seek a warm place somewhere else. I say that I'm going to stop binging, and my name unravels before me. I say that I will fill the hole for good this time, and it opens its mouth in laughter before ordering me another round. Thank you. Alrighty.
Woo!
I fucking love that poem. Thank
Let's
you.
go.
Thank you. Did anyone have like a little bit of like a fuck boy, fuck girl, fuck person phase at all during the pandemic? Anyone? Okay, just me. I'm gonna read a poem that I wrote about that. And yes, this is the first time actually reading this for audience. This should be fun. All right. We are baptized in the sweat of sex and good lies, a cathedral of toxins hailing Mary to an open dome. The sky parted once and looked down on me in chaturanga. Beneath me, another lost cause calling my body church, consuming my flesh. Communion is all I've ever been to a choir of open mouths. Lust is a language that the angels speak behind God's back when he's not watching. It's a lie, you know, that he's always watching. If that were true, there'd be no such thing as forgiveness. Some things are just too much to look past, like the way a boy can sing a truth into a girl's neck and watch as she unfurls her body beneath his until it slowly begins to rot away. Once I planted a flower in my chest, named it Good Intention, and I've been leaving it on the tombstone of every woman who's escaped the shallow grave of my bedside. What keeps me awake is knowing that I am unique in this, or just like the rest. Both answers send me back to God, palms open, back bent, ready to seek my penance.
Gang, gang.
Let's go, poets.
I'm gonna do a couple more poems and be out of here. Really excited to also, if you're in the Bay Area, I'm featuring tomorrow night at the Berkeley Poetry Slam at the Starry Plow.
That's right.
And see folks and just like be in space with everyone. Super excited. I will have some books with me to sell as well and sign and whatnot. So yeah, if you can catch me there, that'd be great. Yes, there will be merch. Tomorrow, I think like 8 o'clock or so, or 7:15 signups for the slam, something like that. But yeah, Starry Plow, Berkeley. All right, I'm gonna get into my penultimate poem. Yeah. Sometimes you have to write shit in like a fairy tale or like kind of like a simple story because they don't understand something. It's like even so though something can be very obvious, you have to kind of break it down for them. So this is my attempt at doing that. White and Blue, a love story. White had always known there was something special about Blue. Ever since White was a child, Blue had been there, walking White home from school, making sure none of the other colors were mean to White. Blue made White feel safe, felt home wherever. White could be itself around Blue, never had to explain to Blue. Blue didn't care about White's past because White's past was Blue's future, and Blue loved White too. How could Blue not? They had everything in common. Their smiles would empty neighborhoods. Their laughter would fill Blue's rib cage with colors. White had never known a relationship like this. No hiding with Blue. No political correctness with Blue. Blue didn't care about correctness, just corrections. White loved Blue's ambition. Blue basked in white's unwavering support. It was a match made in history for decades. White and blue lived happily together. Only a fool would think blue would ever turn away from white. Then suddenly, blue started looking different, started showing up in black, and white didn't like that. White demanded blue explain. White liked blue the way blue was, like a clouded sky, a blue white could see itself in. Blue smiled, cupped white's anxious face, promised that change would not change blue, and white believed, because although blue was a liar, blue never lied to white. White saw change too, a pressure to leave blue, to let blue protect all colors, for blue and white to just be friends. But blue and white could never just be friends. White needed blue. White was nothing without blue. Blue completed white. So white began to plot, dreamed of ways to keep blue and white together, wrote love letters, called them legislation, sent hidden messages through black codes only blue would understand. But white wasn't satisfied, grew threatened, saw black thriving in Tulsa and Durham, Richmond and Birmingham. So white crafted a new plan, introduced new colors, foreign this time, brought China white and black tar into black's home, made blue put black away for little bags of green. White was high now, so high looking down at what blue and white had accomplished together. White's face, a job well done, blue's smile, row of occupied gel cells, but blue had something bigger planned. Got down on one knee, revealed the biggest rock white had ever seen, and white gasped, screamed yes. And together, blue and white shattered the rock into 1,000 shards, laying on corners all across black neighborhoods. White and blue knew this is the beginning of the rest of their lives. Now blues would always have a reason to come home to white, and soon blue's rib cage was bursting with colors. Soon blue's prisons, all shades of black and brown, a spectrum by design, a palette palatable for white, a love story so inconceivable, unimaginable. To this day, their children refuse to believe it. Whew. All right, y'all. This has been fun. Yeah, you can order merch online if you have access. You can like Amazon, or if you don't like Amazon, Barnes and Noble, they can get sent to you. It delivers pretty quickly. So yeah, this will be my last poem. Feel free to reach out if you want to connect with me. My Instagram is a great way to connect. It's open_Mike_Ting. If you just look up Mike Ting, MICTING, you should be able to find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and all that. I would love to connect. And all right, let me get to my last poem. I like to kind of end my sets on a little calmer note these days. So I'm going to try to take us out the little bit of a calming sense. All right. And aren't we blessed to call each morning our own? To witness a sunrise as if we pulled the star up from the horizon ourselves. If there is a God, I bet they lay back, elbows bent, arms folded, hands clasped, grinning at such a miracle. How fortunate are we to rise with less than what we said, for the heaviness of yesterday to lay dormant, if only until we decide to look it in the eyes again. I've always found myself to be equal parts dreamer and sorcerer, conjuring that which keeps me going and binds me to the ground. Gratitude may be the heaviest word in my vocabulary. Whenever I try to hold it, it slips from my mouth, landing amongst all the things I can never seem to grasp. One day, I'll learn to keep all of my blessings on me, the way I do the 3-pat check whenever I leave the house. Phone, yes. Wallet, yes. Keys, yes. Now, body, yes. Good blood, yes. Pumping heart, yes. Or mind, yes. Self-love, yes. Some small piece, yes. And I will watch myself rise on each new day like I've done countless times before. Thank you guys so much.
Woo! Up one more time for Mike Ting. I'm sorry. You spotlighted me. I saw my hair after the Henny and got scared. Y'all know that trend on TikTok: before the liquor, after the liquor. That's how I'm feeling. Oh my gosh, that was such a good feature. And if you want to find Mike Ting on Instagram, you can find him at open_Mike_Ting. Y'all see the open mic. But this is a slam. And because this is a slam, I must let you know that these poets have not just been competing for fame and glory, they have been competing for fortune. The winner of this slam gets a cash prize of $50, and we are into the money round. We have no feature. We are just raw dogging the second round, so let's get into it. Our list will be in this order. We have Maddie, followed by Chardonnay, and ending the night. Wait, that's the wrong order. I'm sorry. Let me get right. We have Nicole Tracy, followed by Chardonnay, followed by Maddie. Give it up for everybody in the second round. Gang, 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 gang. Alrighty, so on deck we have Chardonnay, but coming up to the stage, give maximum love to our first poet of the second round. Give it up for Nicole Tracy. Woo!
Let's go.
I can hear you.
To the man who said I look like Arya Stark from the neck down after seeing the one scene she is naked in. Really? This is the one time in 8 seasons you think I look like her. And while this is not the first time a man has said he fantasizes about me, it is probably the most creative way. And so he stands there expecting me to give some praise. I mean, it's such a compliment, right? I could be a body double for any beautiful white girl. I would look perfect and out of reach on small and large screens. I mean, I should be thankful, right? Thankful that I am one of the top search terms for sexual fantasy, because after all, fetish and Japanese are separate search terms but are not mutually exclusive. And after all, it's not your fault that the world only puts a fantasy out, says I can only be sexy or smart, and having boobs means I can only be sexy. I mean, I should be thankful, right? That you and so many men beat your dick to the idea of me without knowing my name or thinking about the bloody history white violence leaves behind. He sees me in every anime he has ever watched and calls me fan service and believes it to be a compliment. When he says I look like Arya Stark from the neck down, what he means to say is he is ignoring what strong women we are, sees us as a pair of walking boobs, only calls himself a feminist from his male gaze. And yes, I am like Arya Stark. I am a bloodthirsty bitch. Arya Stark killed the goddamn Night King, and I'm sure she would sneer at your comments too. Call you harmless because it would hurt your masculinity, would kill you in self-defense. And remember, we will not give you a warning if you put your hands on us.
All right, give it up one more time for Nicole Tracy. Gang, 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 gang. Judges, you know what to do. Get your scores into our scorekeeper, Reggie. Scores. All right, moving right along. I had to get a couple notes out. Everybody who's ever seen me host the Alchemy open mic, you know I have the open mic slam song. I have not written the slam song yet. That will be on my next mixtape, Poetry and Music. I don't have a mixtape. Please don't actually look out for it. You will be disappointed, but you will not be disappointed by our next performers, because on deck we have Maddie coming up to the stage right now. Give it up for Chardonnay. Woo!
Yeah. Woo! Can you hear me?
Yes.
Indeed.com.
Oh, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Indeed.com.
Oh, fuck. All right. Can you hear me now?
Indeed.com.
A sestina on not playing piano. You have the fingers of a pianist, so long, so slender, says several old professors, all male, all white, all in mentor roles in deciding how I should use my fingers for them, labeled as one who's already trained to bend the right ways, as if that's what it means to be Black, all the way down to my bones I've been taught to perform. And for who am I expected to perform? These men, all tall and reminiscent of the slender, in my memory, each is dressed in a suit, Black as the keys shrunk in between those large and white, differentiated by the lips carved in an upward bend, its placement as unnatural as the shape wished on my fingers. Some of these men, older, made other innuendos of my fingers, thirsty for the juice that flows when they performed, my body learning new ways to bend underneath their vision, all imaginary as that slender, but just as haunting of a face, unmasked but white, and growing hungry to consume my Black, or reminding me that my presence triggered memories of an ex, Black, as if that erases the racism from his fingers, touching without asking, explaining forgiveness is owed to his white. It must be delivered, even if that means I must perform. And if I embody too much space, make myself smaller, more slender, to take the extra parts of me and force them to bend. I leave these conversations with pieces of myself exposed, past bend, molded into a box itself, the darkest shadow, Black, a piece of myself once removed to make slender, words ripping from my throat by metal fingers, relive death with a stage to perform. There is no survival if you bleach yourself white. When you see the piano keys, first you notice the white, then you hear the song, but you don't see what it takes to bend, to give yourself a shape ready to perform. When your pieces are no longer shadows, they're still Black, still learning not to hide, to move like nimble fingers. Where is the balance between doing shows and avoiding slender? The haunting desire to perform with my fingers, a white man watching his wallet grow slender as he bends to be near this Black.
All right, give it up one more time for Chardonnay. Gang, 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 gang. All right, and do we have our scores for our last poet? Do we have scores? Do we have scores? Do we have scores? I need scores. I need scores. The judges are quicker than my scorekeeper because our last poet got a score of a 27.9. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. Gang, 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 gang. Woo! All right, we are almost to the end of our show because on deck we have Ting who gets this money and then going home. But coming up to the stage, give maximum love to our last poet of the night. Give it up for Maddie. Woo!
Okay. I know I'm gonna go over 3 minutes, but only by a couple seconds. Please don't cut me off. I won't go to 4 minutes. All right, let's go. I don't think I fall in love in real time. Call it amnesic or absent-minded, call it retroactive grief. Street signs are upside down with the doorbell missing because I dream and story as if it were true. I have been a child for so many birthdays, a pain body stuck inside 16 for like ever. Every so often, I dream of boys who never hurt me, who could have maybe loved me, but instead didn't. One is a dream of my best friend in 4th grade. astral project to my kitchen. You and I, we are both 4 foot something, painted red, blue, and yellow painted handprints on the water cooler in the pantry, and we are shaving potatoes to make French fries with my dad, and I don't burn my hand on the hot oil, and you don't forget about me. Sometimes in my dreams we're older, but you and I are still only best friends all over again. But I haven't seen you in 18 years. Last night I had a dream that I was something like undressed or just honest for once. My head laying on his broad chest, this handsome, this elegy, this sweet football player that I once kissed in the backseat of my car in high school. And he has his arm around me and we are laughing about sawdust like we are chainsaws, a house being built around us, a dream. But at the 10-year reunion, he won't remember my face. And it's not that I don't care about what we did behind the bleachers, but it's just that he was the only person that I told that my mom had cancer. He was nice to me. Fuck the math class. Are you doing okay? You text me if you need me. And I don't know why I didn't. I just got tired of the hangover. Reckon I'll cause one of them fits just from wishing. I'm 26 now and storm-proof by a choir of drunken goodbyes. And so I close my eyes and there, he is just a boy who kissed me and meant it. We both had those stupid, expensive calculators that graphed out math I literally never understood. And to this day, I have nightmares that I didn't study for algebra. But back then, 16, we flirted by passing notes on them stupid, expensive calculators until the teacher put us in different seats on opposite ends of the room. And he never fucked me, and I'm glad he didn't. And he never told me he loved me, and I'm glad he didn't do that to me either. That he is a safe memory. Yeah, I've fallen in love wide awake, but mostly I fall in love when I'm asleep. Every other night, really, breathing heavy in past tense and goodbyes that didn't actually ever really happen. He was nice to me when I was 16, when I wore a preppy shirt with a collar underneath, and he laughed, and he told me that he liked the black eyeliner, black hair, skinny jeans, band tee, emo girl, that I look much better as myself. And when he said that, he meant it. He won't bring himself to look me up because he probably won't remember me, but I have, and I do, by name or by school or by the handprint that he left on my waist in my dreams. And it's embarrassing that my body still wants to come for him, find him, tell him about how I caused myself a fit just from wishing every night, heavy and hot breath like praying underneath a house fire. Sawdust embers and the whole thing is up in flames, and I try not to care, but in the morning sometimes it takes me a while to remember that it's just a dream.
All right, give it up one last time for Maddie. Gang, 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 gang. And for reference, Chardonnay got a score of a 28.5. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. Gang, 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 gang. And now we're at the end of
Let's go, poet.
Oh no, it's Sally. Oh shit, y'all didn't cheer enough. You know, we went the whole slam without hearing Sally, and now we hear Sally. That's sad. Still waiting on our last scores for Maddie. But while we are waiting for our scores, I can tell you about all the other slams in the Bay Area. All right, first up every second Tuesday, right here on Zoom, on the internet, we got the Oakland Slam rocking out. And then every single Wednesday at the Starry Cloud, back in person, is the Berkeley Slam. Oh shit, tomorrow's Wednesday. We have an amazing people lined up. Tomorrow we have a guest host. If you want to know more information, follow the Berkeley Slam at Berkeley Poetry Slam on Facebook, Instagram, and the Bird app, Twitter, tweet. I'm sorry, I don't know why I did all of that when I could have just did one. But you know, we're poets, we do the most. Oh wow, we have, and next we have Arvin said it's Elon's Twitter now, or maybe not.
Not if he keeps threatening Twitter execs. Like, he needs to.
Wait. Is he threatening their lives or their livelihoods?
Who knows? It's Elon Musk. It could be an unholy combination of both.
Oh my gosh. All right. And every first and third Saturday, we have the Alchemy open mic on Instagram Live. Follow them over at Rich Oak Alchemy gang. And our last poet, Maddie, after a time penalty, got a score of a 23.0. Everybody say fuck linear time.
Fuck linear time.
Yes, time is an illusion. Unless you have to calculate scores, then it is very tangible in practice. It's unfortunate when it has no measure of your poetry and how amazing it was. Because now that the show is over, that poetry, everybody was amazing. Still waiting on scores for the whole show. Who won? What is the order? I can just awkwardly dance until we get all our scores. Thanks for the music coming back on, because if I was awkwardly dancing to no music, it would be more than just awkward dancing. It would be really awkward. We're waiting for scores. Okay, there we go.
Damn scores. Jesus. It's a Tuesday fucking night.
Everybody give it up for Reggie for doing math begrudgingly. Gang.
Gang.
All right, we finally have our scores. So let me get a drum roll. In third place with a score of a 51.3. Give it up for Maddie. Woo! Thank you so much for showing up. Is there anything you want to say to the crowd? Anything you want to play? Oh, you're muted right now.
I can't wait till we're here in person again. I fucking miss you guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Someday soon, hopefully.
Yes, soon. Chardonnay said, not me cheering like the baby is in his sleep. Oh gosh. All right. Thank you so much, Maddie. All right. I need another drum roll. A slightly larger drum roll because, oh shit, these scores were close. In second place with a 55.5. Give it up for Nicole. Woo! Is there anything you want to say to the crowd, Nicole? Spotlighted Tino. We see his forehead.
Go to the Berkeley Slam tomorrow. Go to the open mic this Saturday. It is in my calendar because I have my own poetry calendar for poetry events. It's 1 a.m. I'm gonna go to bed. Thanks for having me. Good night.
Thanks for coming out. Good night, Nicole. Sweet dreams. All right. Now I need a very large drum roll. Because in first place with a score of a 55.7, winning $50, give it up for Chardonnay. Speech.
I was not expecting this. Thank you so much. Oakland Slam. I almost said Berkeley Slam because my brain is a fog. Go to the Berkeley Slam in person tomorrow. Go to Alchemy this Saturday. I'm doing the workshop. Check out my website, Healing Cool Waters, where I help people with handling generational trauma and processing inner child wounds and learning how to fully be yourself and do your thing regardless of how somebody else might perceive you. Thank you so much. Colin, and Oakland Slam. And the judges. I really was not expecting to win. Good night.
All right, give it up one more time for Chardonnay, for Maddie, for Nicole, for our feature, Mike Ting. Thank you so much to Tino and Prophet and all of our judges and Reggie, our scorekeeper, and most of all, thank you for watching us scream poetry into the void that is the internet, Elon's internet. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really cannot wait till we are back in person to see all of y'all. But until we are back in person, we all have each other here on the internet, and we will see y'all next time.